I think we have a small problem of the week. There's no small problem, just small KPIs. I don't know what I'm saying. Two drop downs. How to properly let the user know that there are a restriction for drop down menus. By the way, drop down, dash or not a dash?
You know what? Quit it with the dashes. It's too much.
So there are restrictions for a drop down menu. You need to choose a quantity, but you have two drop downs. That one of them.
What's the problem we're solving? So this person is asking us on Stack Exchange about how to properly let the user know about the restrictions between two fields that are dependent on each other. So between these two fields, the main connection and guest connection, you have a maximum of 19 as a total that you can reach. So our first step was to create our problem. As a Wi-Fi haver administrator, I need to set up and configure my users so that they can have Wi-Fi without overloading my system. So then we talked a little bit about we definitely need to show success at the maximum and like how do we convey this? We thought about, okay, what can you adjust? What's going to be allowed? We knew off the bat that we avoid this finicky drop-down interplay, TM, of other forms, right? This like weird thing where we're just like negotiating between these two things and throwing an error and doing a calculation and doing another thing. And this thing does this and this thing does that. No, thank you. Then we thought about, okay, this is actually a visibility of system status kind of problem, which ties into this concept here of exposing constraints and the logic of the system. Rather than throwing errors, why don't we try to just say what's possible instead? And then also drop downs, really? Maybe we can just not do this. Our brains were melded on that. Then we explored the components themselves. We tried to figure out how are these actually done? What are they called?
Input stepper.
Input stepper. So we used an input stepper and threw the drop downs in the trash kind of concept as well as the formula concept. But we did a little exploration around trying to formulate this like a formula. So we looked at the formula in a different composition. Where we settled for this problem is this combo here at the top. In this option, we have main and guest. They're both using the stepper input. And we just have a one line that has an active sort of status and I guess the affordance or the rules of what's available. So in this line down here, it says 0 of 19 connections added as you plus. These are actually enabled. As you add things, update in here in their respective containers, and then they also update right here. So you have this live sense of what's happening. So as you go along and you add more things, this is updating to 4. And then finally you reach your max and you have 19 of 19 connections added. Little interaction subtlety thing here is around the disabled state that the plus will then turn into in the spirit of preventing people from doing the wrong thing and throwing that error. So disabled is what we do instead. And this is how we reinforce why that is the case. We quickly discussed how we would actually handle this with a keyboard rather than like a mouse and click interaction. And where we settled on that was we go into the input, and if you exceed the total of what you're actually allowed to input there, then the system would basically put in the highest possible value instead. We still prevent the errors from happening and optimize for keyboard and optimize for efficiency in the interaction. That's what we came to for this problem.
I think we can say mic drop down with no dash.
With no dash?
With no dash.